Hi there, welcome back to the Finley Formation. This is Brandon.
This Gage?
And this is Jared.
Okay, we're coming off a big Thanksgiving week. It's kind of cool that they don't do any bye weeks during Thanksgiving, but you kind of hope that they would maybe. But they have a full slate of games. I don't know. I guess I didn't realize they didn't do the bye weeks then.
I didn't either. I guess I didn't put two and two together when you were talking about the record this week for our pick'em. I
Yeah.
was like, 16 games. I didn't even put two and two together, so that's kind of cool.
Yep.
I wonder
Yeah.
if there's any correlation with them extending the week or to week 18 a couple years ago
Yeah,
to
maybe.
not have any bye weeks on Thanksgiving. I don't know.
Yeah, and then they added that Black Friday game. So
That's right. Yeah.
it's they just got football all weekend, and it's funny because Melinda always gives me shit. My wife does. She's always like, they have football every night. I was like, they do not. And then it seems like all of a sudden these Saturday games come, and then Thursday's there, and then they'll have like two Monday night games. She's like, they have football on all the time. I'm like, all right, maybe they do.
Yeah, I mean, we got Tuesday and Wednesday are the 2 days we even have an option to record because other than that, there's football.
Right.
Football every damn
Yep.
day almost. And then now it's getting close to playoffs, and I'm pretty sure they start doing Saturday games eventually, like with the last couple weeks here.
Yep.
So yeah, but I mean, I like it. I don't mind it at all, especially when the college football is pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the really good teams, which does not include our Cowboys.
Yeah,
Not our Cowboys
except
this year.
when I do mind it is when it's like, say like there's a game this week that if it was a Saturday game, I'd be pretty pissed. Like Titans Browns, or if you had like Giants Titans, or just eliminated teams, like why even just cancel their game, man?
Yeah.
Why that be a primetime game on a Saturday?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and open this up with some questions before we get too much into some football. A question. We got Kel send us a question again. Loving it, man. Keep it coming. Thanks, friend. He says, so we all know what the MVP that the MVP is probably going to be a QB. So what QBs do you think are in the running? The only QB that I can think is having a good season is Stafford. So is he the front runner as far as QBs go? And he says, I think Lamar and Allen are not having a good enough season. Maybe Mahomes.
Well, the Mars missed too many games. That's like right off the bat. If you play 12 games, you're not in the MVP race.
Mm-hmm.
Not valuable if you can't play the full season.
Yeah, and I think that even if he played the whole season playing like he is, I agree that he's not playing up to par. Definitely not playing like
Oh,
he was
but
the
he already
last
has a couple, so
seasons.
he'd be in the race. Just like Mahomes, where I don't think he's playing even close to good enough, but he's top 4, top 5 in odds everywhere because he has a couple already, and he's Patrick Mahomes. So
Are you
Yeah.
saying they got a couple votes? Is that what you're saying?
just in
Or a
odds,
couple nods. Okay.
in odds, yeah. If you look like Vegas and all that stuff, he's always
Yeah.
Mahomes
Same,
is always
same.
4th or 5th, and Lamar's or most seasons it's high, and it's just they've won it before, and they have the name for it. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's hard to say because you look at Joe Burrow last year, and speaking of Patrick Mahomes, I don't think he should be considered, but they're not going to give it to a quarterback whose team is on the fringe of making the playoffs. So even if his stats were like Joe Burrow's last year, Patrick Mahomes' team being 6-6 right now, I think kind of would eliminate him. So I think it's between probably Drake May and Matthew Stafford. It's just kind of disappointing because you're not seeing like these eye-popping stats anymore. If they're going to make it a quarterback
Hmm.
award, like they have pretty much the
Yep.
last 15 years anyway, but you would kind of hope that the stats would kind of back. You're not seeing your 5,000 yards from Drew Brees and
Right.
you know Peyton Manning and stuff like that with 50 plus touchdowns. So like Drake May's on pace to throw for like 4,400 yards and 30 touchdowns, and he's the overall leader right now. Which I have no. I mean, if he's the front runner, I mean, great. But I got kind of a dark horse if his team can get on a run and they can make the playoffs. Dak Prescott.
Dak.
that's
Yep.
what I was about to say. Dakota Prescott,
Yep.
man,
Yeah.
Rain Dakota
Yep.
Prescott.
The way he's playing, the way that if he can will that team from where they were, I understand they made um, some trades to make that defense better, and that's going to kind of
Right.
help him take over the thing. But we've been talking about it most of the season. He's the way he's playing, and if he can will his team to get into the playoffs, even I mean they have an opportunity to kind of vie for the division right now, and if they can win the division, I think Dak Prescott will probably win it.
Yeah, and he's leading on average on passing yards per game right now too. So I mean the stats are there. I
Mhm.
think that you would like to see more touchdowns from him, but I still think what he's second or third.
Yeah,
But that's to Stafford, and I don't think it's
Who's
May.
he?
He's tied right now with Goff at 25, and then
Right.
Stafford's got 32.
All for touchdowns.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, but even then, that's pretty good, But yeah, it is weird that the stats just aren't there for these teams. I have my own theories on that. I think a lot of it is the new kickoff thing,
Yeah.
starting from the 35. I also think that they are taking time away all the time. Like you can't go out of bounds and stop the clock.
Mhm.
They are just, every team right now runs the clock down to 1 all the time, runs the play clock down. So I think that they've shortened the game.
Right.
But I also, yeah, I totally agree. I think Dak Prescott should be right there in the mix. I know the team's not looking great, and they all, you need to have the wins there too. You're not going to give it to a losing team or a team that's, like you said, on the brink of the
Mhm.
playoffs. I totally agree. I think he's right. I think right now it's Stafford's to lose. If he would have to play pretty bad to not do that. If he had more weeks like he had this last
Yeah.
week, is what it basically comes down to because he's just set himself apart with the touchdowns. He's 7 above the next 2, is
Mhm.
what you just said. So I mean that's a lot of touchdowns there, and that's a lot of wins that he's creating for his team. So, but he also has a lot of good players around him. So
Yeah.
I do agree. I think it is Stafford's right now to lose, but there are other players that can come up and I think snatch that from him. I do think that May and like you said, Dak Prescott are right there. Mahomes, he would have to do this. He would have to win out and do it in like glorious fashion
Right.
to
Oh no,
to be considered in my book anyway.
he has better stats than I thought he did. I mean, of course, his team ain't winning, so what does it matter?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, he's second in yards or third in yards. I just had to put up. He's third in yards in the league right now. Then he's got a 22-7 touchdown to interception. So it's like if they went on a run and he had a couple of 3 TDs, 0 interception games, which isn't too crazy. I think he could be in the running, but
Yeah, it'd have to be. I think it would have to be one hell of a finish to the season for him to be considered. I don't see it happening. I don't think. Of course, Rasheed Rice has changed that offense a lot since he's
Mhm.
been back, but still, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're going to be ready to, or they're going to be able to do that. So I would say, yeah, I think it's going to come down between the 3 guys that we mentioned. So okay, yeah, good question though. I like that. It does suck because I do think that this would be a good year for a defensive end. Maybe Miles Garrett,
Maybe, yeah.
probably going to break that record. Although the Niners kind of stopped him a little bit this week. I liked it when he got to Purdy a couple times there in a row, and instead of like they just slid Kittle out there
Mhm.
and put him 1-on-1 with Miles Garrett. I was like, dude, that is crazy when you can just put a tight end on a big defensive end like that and feel pretty good about it. And I think Kittle did well when he was 1-on-1 with him. But
yeah, I mean, he's only 15 pounds lighter than Miles Garrett, and he blocks just as well as any offensive lineman in the
yeah,
league. So
yeah, he's a great blocker. Absolutely, it's an ode to how good Kittle is.
Mhm.
And that was the only time they did that. It seemed like is when Miles would line up opposite of Trent Williams.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that the Browns move him around a lot. So you can't, they're not going to move Trent Williams to follow him. So yeah, but yeah, I think Miles Garrett would be great for that. I'd like to see other players get into this talk, but it like
I
he
still
said,
think Jonathan Taylor, but
yeah, he's been down the last couple weeks. They figured out kind of how to stop him, but and that's kind of on the Colts not being able to take advantage of that enough to make them pay for it with the pass like they were early on. And so it's just,
Mhm.
yeah, I
yeah,
honestly
I
think
think
that
the
he's
biggest
still
part,
the best running back in the league right now, though.
yeah, I mean, the biggest part, of course, is 15 touchdowns. Second place is Josh Allen for rushing touchdowns in the league, and only has 11. So
Mhm.
he's leading by 4 touchdowns. Biggest part that I look at is the 0 fumbles.
Yeah,
So 0 turnovers on the amount of carries he's getting. But I mean, yeah, you can go wrong with Miles Garrett, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Especially if he's getting creeping up towards that 24, 25, to where he's like obliterating the record, you know what I mean? And not just getting it by a half a sack or just a sack.
yeah.
You know, if he's on pace to get like 25 or 26, it's kind of like, okay, maybe
Yeah,
maybe
so
this guy would where
he's got 19 already. 19 through, is it 12 or 13 that they played?
I think it's 12.
That they've played.
I think they got
Yeah,
five more games.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, so in 12 games, he has 19. So he's at
4 more games.
1.6 sacks. So he's probably projected right at 24-25, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he can definitely break the record, especially, I mean, I think this is the only game against the Niners that he didn't have multiple sacks in the last, like, 4 or 5 weeks or something like that. He'd been on a run. I think he only got one against Purdy,
Mm-hmm.
and then, I mean, Purdy ditched the ball on one of them where he was gonna go down, but I watched that whole game. I thought they did well against them. I thought the offensive line played really well. Yeah, I'd like to see it go somewhere else. But it was kind of weird this week, just to go on into the whole week. I think it was weird because it was like the week of the underdogs. Like, this was kind of weird to see. I'm surprised that some of the like you only got 4 losses. I think one of our listeners only got 3, and it's like I was really surprised to see that because it was like the week of the underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of underdog teams won this week.
Yeah, I mean, all your Thanksgiving dogs did. All 3 of the Thanksgiving games was the underdogs, and I think Friday was the underdog too.
Yeah, I think so too. But that was the Bears Steelers game. Does that
Bears,
sound right?
Eagles.
Eagles,
Bears,
yeah,
Eagles, yeah. Yeah, so the first 4 games were all underdogs. Of course, my parlay was only the first 3 underdogs. I would add the Bears, man. It would have been like probably like a $60-$70 payout instead of $24 or whatever it was.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. Yeah, I was really surprised. I mean, I think one of the biggest upsets I've seen, definitely this year, in my opinion, is the Panthers over the Rams. Huge upset there. I didn't see it happening. I know that the Panthers have been playing well, but the Rams have been playing so damn good that I did not see it being the Panthers to stop that run.
tell you what, though, I'm super happy it happened.
Hell
So
yeah.
good for the
Mhm.
Niners.
Yep.
And I really like Bryce Young and the Panthers to see him have a success like that. And it was like they won that one. They have 18% chance of playoffs. They lose that one, they're down to like a 4%. So it was just a huge game for them, and odds of getting to the playoffs too.
Mhm.
So it meant a lot to them.
Yeah, and it kind of we talked about it a few weeks ago how the Panthers are doing themselves not any favors by the Bucks being on their 3-game losing streak, and the Panthers kept on losing to potentially games they should have won, like the Saints. But it's kind of funny to see the Panthers. They're the team that sandwiched in between wins of the Packers and the Rams that they lose to the team like the Saints. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yep.
it kind of sees their trajectory. Even last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, against San Francisco, their offense looked like crap.
Yep.
And then the week before, he threw for 435 yards against the Falcons, and then this week they take down the who we all thought was the best team in the NFL probably
Oh yeah.
against the Rams, and they did it against Matthew Stafford, who we all probably before this game was almost, probably number one with his only one interception on the season, and what was it, like 30 some touchdown passes. But he goes into this game and throws three interceptions, and one was for a pick six. And it's just Panthers are the team that you either want to really play or you really don't want to play, depending on the
Right.
week. It's just it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're definitely got the Jekyll and Hyde thing, but I think that just goes to show that they're on a trajectory that's going up, but it's still they're a
Mhm.
young team and they're just getting it figured out. They still got a lot of the same shit happening from last season on those weeks where they're not playing good. Their
Right.
defense just all of a sudden falls off, but really inconsistent. And I think that just shows that they're growing and getting better. But huge upset, but I think it's the biggest upset so far of the season, and so probably one of the bigger upsets I've seen in a while, in my opinion. It seems like because it just seems like I haven't seen one, where I just went
Mhm.
into. I was pretty
Uh,
sure the Rams were going to win
No,
that.
I think maybe this season. I think I agree with you, but the Raiders beat the Ravens last year in the middle of the season.
I thought that
So
was like kind of right off the bat,
I
but
think it
either
was
way,
like week 7 or week 8.
I want to say it was probably the first half. It wasn't. I
mhm.
don't think it was early, but um,
Yeah, that was a
maybe
huge upset too.
maybe
Yeah.
I was trying to think of games earlier this year, but I know it was early, but it was like, was it Cleveland that beat the Packers? So Cleveland only has 3 wins,
Yeah,
and where the
Oh
Packers
yeah,
are now.
there's a
mean-
question, and feel free to answer in the comments. Please answer in the comments. Was the bigger upset for the Panthers to beat the Rams or the Packers? So at that point, the Packers were first seed too.
Yeah,
when the Panthers beat them, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that was pretty big too. I guess. I don't know. I guess I just wasn't feeling as good about the Packers as I was about the Rams. I guess.
right.
You know.
Yeah, the only thing that might make a difference is Carolina went into Lambeau in kind of crappy weather and won there, and
Yeah.
that was kind of probably hard to do. to go into Lambeau and beat the Packers. But yeah, I guess I didn't realize that Panthers are. If you're in first place, man, watch out because the Panthers are coming for you.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, huge upset for them. I like when their defense is playing good. They play pretty damn good. I'm
That
glad
JC Horn is so damn good. He might have to be in the conversation for best corner in the league.
Yeah, I'm
He
glad
leads
they
in
didn't bring
interceptions.
that energy into against the Niners the whole 4 quarters because
Yeah.
they played them good for I think about a half, and then Niners took over. But
Well, J.C. Horn got a concussion, so he didn't
That's
play.
true.
So he didn't
That's
have
true.
he didn't have anybody to
Well-
throw to on the Panthers defense.
Can't say he didn't play because he got the concussion,
That's
went out,
true,
got
yeah.
an interception, then decided to throw up and
Right.
be taken out of the game. So
yeah, crazy week. It was cool. I liked it. I watched a lot of football this weekend. I think, I don't know. It's weird because I think we ended on was it the Denver game again?
That was Sunday
Was
night.
that the Sunday
Yeah.
night? And I still, man, it's crazy because we talked about it. The Commanders gave them all they could get, and they probably at least should have went into that or ended up in a tie. I kind of like that they went for 2, but at the same time, I think you kind of tie it up there and then see what you can do with it. I know there was a couple minutes left, but that just goes to show that I don't feel comfortable with what Denver's got going on there. They're like the Vikings of last year, where you're just waiting for it to all fall apart.
Right.
They're 10-2, but that is not, like I said, that's not a very big deal for me with them right now. I don't know why. I mean, you would think that you would feel more comfortable again. We talked about this before, but still, they just proved it against the Commanders, who have not played well this year at all.
yeah,
I think watching that game. Did they make a comment that the Broncos are on like a 9-game winning streak of like coming back and winning in all 9 of those games or something like that? I can't
Yeah.
remember.
yeah,
So-
something like that, 8 or 9.
Right. It was something crazy to where they've been down in all 9 of their games that they've won in a row. They've had to come back and win at some point during the game.
Oh, really?
I
But
do think a huge part of them coming back and winning this one is they had Marcus Mariota on the field, and he threw the ball 50 times.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Yep.
So I think at some point, I mean, that's 12 and a half attempts a quarter. Some point when you have
crazy.
the lead, give it to your damn running back.
That's crazy.
Which also pissed me off because I missed a parlay that could have been like $400 by 9 yards from their running back.
Is
It's
that
like just hand the ball off.
that Krosky Merritt?
No, it was I can't even
Rodriguez?
remember his
Was
name.
it
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I need 50. He had 41, but Mariota threw the ball 50 times and he got the ball 11.
Yeah, I think this week was just like a perfect example of, getting later in the season of like how much parity is in the NFL this year. You go, Black Friday, or I guess start on Thursday night. Joe Burrow comes back. You don't know how he's going to play because before he got hurt, he really wasn't playing that great.
Yeah.
And so taking, 6 or 8 weeks off? Something like that. 10 weeks off. He hasn't played in 10 weeks, and Bengals let him come out there and throw the ball like 46 times. He
Yeah.
looked really good against. I think the one thing that we were pretty confident about the Ravens was that they still had a pretty good defense after they made that trade for Alohi Gilman.
Yep.
And they were playing really good on that side of the ball. And Joe Burrow came out and dude, they looked good.
Yeah.
Even their defense looked pretty good, which
Yep.
was kind of surprising. And then it just led into the Black Friday game with the Bears and just running all over the Eagles. I mean,
Mhm.
that game was a 9-point game, but it didn't feel like that. It felt like
No.
it was a blowout. And I don't know if it's just because of the way the Eagles play. So I don't know if I've kind of figured out the Eagles offense. Their Eagles offense is like, we're going to be the simplest type of offense and not turn the ball over and let our defense play pretty good.
Well, you have to be simple with Jalen Hurts at the helm.
That's what and it's weird because like once a quarter, they'll take a shot to either Devontae Smith or AJ Brown, and it's just like, well, why can't they do that like
Yeah.
every other play or something like that?
Yeah, because Devontae, man, his head taps are crazy
Yeah.
this year. Yeah, it's a hell of a highlight reel.
Yep. And it's I don't know. And then you go into the Sunday games, and it's like the Texans are back into the running of the AFC South with the Jaguars and the Colts, and they're all just one game apart by beating the Colts. Dolphins grind it out against the Saints.
Yep.
I mean, and then the Jets go and beat the Falcons on a wild kind of fourth quarter, second half and then the Buccaneers and Cardinals are close. The Panthers are winning. I don't know. It was just, and then the Broncos winning a close game. In all reality, the Commanders should have won because that play was wide open and
Yeah.
that Nick Bonito ended up batting down. So it's just, I thought this was just like a perfect example of like the parity in the NFL this year, to where there's no like one dominant team, to where we're sitting there going like, oh man, this is probably your Super Bowl favorite,
Yep.
especially after the Rams losing to the Panthers. Now it's kind of like,
Yep.
okay, now we're back to square zero.
Right. I totally agree. I think that going back to what you said about the Bears and the Eagles, going back to that game, I think that was actually one of the only games where Bears just solidly won that game. They didn't ever feel like it was in flux, like, oh, it could be anybody's game, like you said. It was a solid win by the Bears, and it actually was kind of, grounding to be like, okay, maybe they deserve where they're at with that win. But, we'll see. We'll see. They still got to do it.
Talk about the Bears and their running game. Where does Monangai rank against running backs in the NFL right now?
I think with rookies, he's up there.
I think Offensive Player of the Year or Offensive Rookie of the Year, he could be in the race for even right now, because he hasn't even played the whole year, and he's at like 700 rushing yards.
Right.
Is he up that high?
I could think of 2 or 3 150-yard games he's had, including this one against the Eagles. So.
Right. Yeah, he's playing well. Junkin, finally got to watch Junkins against the 49ers. I got to watch that game, so he does things fairly well. His team is just always in the deficit, to where they're not running the ball hardly anymore. So I was kind of impressed to watch. Even his receiving skills. They threw a couple check downs or screen passes to him, and he moves it pretty well with the ball in his hand. So if they could ever figure out their offense and actually have a lead in the game, I think he could probably take over. But.
Yeah, and you could tell the Niners were playing the run more than anything. Even whether it's the QB or him, they were not attacking to get sacks. They weren't going for the quarterback. They weren't blitzing. Even a lot of the time, their defensive ends would just play kind of a more like contained type situation. They did end up getting some sacks, but it was only like on certain downs that they really went for it. So teams that play the Browns like that are, this is the reason I think Judkins, his numbers are definitely down. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, he's one. I still think it's probably going to go to receiver. I know Amika's numbers have been down a little bit. He's probably in the running for the rookie of the year, and then I think that Tet Roya.
Yeah,
he's
so I pulled up his exact stacks. So I already forgot the carriers. Might be able to go back to it and see. Yes, I know he has 591 yards and 5 touchdowns.
That's Monaghan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
McMillan the last couple of weeks have only had like 1 or 2 catches a game, but they're touchdown catches. So that kind
he's
of puts
a huge part of why I'm losing in fantasy and missed the playoffs. Him and Jonathan Taylor are sole reason. Those two assholes.
I think last week McMillan only had 1 catch for 43 yards, but it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Amika's kind of fell off a little bit too, but I think the Buccaneers in general had not been playing well. Even I had, their defense hasn't been playing well all season, but now their offense is starting to look a little questionable too.
Right.
And I know Bucky coming back is a big deal, and they definitely went to him quite a bit. I think they only had 4 other carries from any other backs, including that Tucker and then White. So, but still, they barely beat those Cardinals. And the Cardinals have not been good this season. So I still think the biggest disappointments for me so far this season has been the Ravens and the Lions, though.
Yeah.
I think altogether, I think you were saying that you thought Hutchinson could go for the defensive player of the year, do really well. And he's playing good, but still, that defense is not playing well. I don't think he's getting to the quarterback as much as we thought he would. The Ravens, they've been all over the place. It looked like they were making a surge, getting ready to come back, and then they just got, break speed off of them by the Bengals. So I think those are my 2 biggest disappointments of the season. I really thought that both those teams were probably Super Bowl teams, and I think that's who I picked.
I have one big disappointment so far this year, and that is the Dolphins. Like, Patriots are going to be awesome. Bills are going to be awesome. Dolphins are going to sneak in as the 7th. They might be able to sneak into the 7th overall pick.
Yeah, I don't know. They're up to 5 wins now. So, they're really definitely ruining that. their 7th pick probably,
Yeah.
and they're probably going to get another win this week. So
Yeah.
don't
So, I
know.
mean, the 7th seed, it's still available. They
It
can still
is.
pull it off.
But they'll
And
get right there and screw it up and
Right.
pick 15th overall.
I really hope they pull off that 7th pick, because then I tell you I told you so. So I picked 3 in that division, and
did.
everybody's like, nope, no way,
I-
no way.
Yeah, I
But
didn't
there's a
see it.
way. We're guaranteed 2 of them, almost guaranteed 2 of them.
Yeah.
There's a chance for the 3rd.
Okay. All right. Yep. Crazy week. Let's go into our underreactions, overreactions. So
All right, my underreaction right now is the Niners defense. In the last 2 weeks, granted, got the Panthers offense, but they just put up a big win. And they're very on and off, like you guys talked about, but they've given up 17 in the last 2 weeks, and we were looking at one of the worst defenses in the league for the first since Fred Warner and Bosa went down. They were horrible. Last 2 or 3 weeks, they really picked it up, and I just don't think they're getting talked about enough about how much they picked it up and how right now they're playing like a top 10 defense.
yeah, they're number 8. They're 8th overall in
Mhm.
points per game. So that's awesome.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think even watching that game on Sunday against the Browns, I think it was is it Keon White?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
one they got from the Patriots. Is he 56? I think he's 56.
That sounds right.
But he got a sack, and I was like, "What the hell is 56?" And then he got up, and I saw the name on the back of the jersey. I was like, "Oh, it's Keon White."
Yeah, and then
I didn't
you
realize
see-
his number was 56.
And you see Farrell go through again too.
Farrell.
It's like, who the hell is this guy? Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
90,
he played snaps
yeah.
for us last year too.
Yeah,
It's
those
crazy.
2 guys we didn't think much about when they got them. We were like,
Mhm.
okay, I guess. But they, combined for 3 sacks,
Right.
and that's huge for
Yeah.
the Niners. So I like that. Yeah, somehow they're still getting it done. I like that one, and they are. I mean, they're quietly getting better and having a decent season now.
Not to mention they had the longest NFL streak ever of no interceptions, longest interception drought. Then they had 2 last week. Then they had a fumble recovery this week.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was pretty big. I like you said. What shocked me the most was, I think I was scrolling through defensive stuff, and I was like, "Holy cow! The Niners are number 8
Mhm.
in points allowed." Which, I mean, kudos to Robert Saleh. I think that might be the higher as far as assistants go in the offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with what he's doing. I mean, yeah, it would look a little bit different if he was doing this with like Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and Mikael Williams and everybody was healthy. But what he's doing it with and who he's doing it with, it's just like, holy cow, that's mind blowing. And then for the Niners still to be 9-4,
Yeah.
and I know we didn't talk about this, but the Niners are sitting number 7 right now in the NFC playoff picture. They'll automatically go up to number 6 off of their bye week because of the Packers and Bears playing each other this
Yep.
week. So they'll jump one of them depending on who loses.
Mm-hmm.
So they've won bye week already, which is good.
And they could come out of bye week as high as the 2nd seed
Mhm.
if the Rams and the Seahawks lose,
Right.
And then obviously that other game. So if the Rams and Seahawks lose, I mean, just from bye week, they come out in the second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
spot,
which
so.
that'd be incredible.
Which
Be
is
pretty
crazy.
awesome.
I don't think a whole lot of people are talking about the Niners just because I think they've kind of pushed them aside once everybody got hurt. And I think when people look up and they're like, holy cow, the Niners are still 9-4.
Yeah.
And then, like Gage said, the last 2 weeks against, you look at we already talked about the Panthers games in between where they put up, I think, 40-some points against the Falcons, and then they go and put 31 points up against the Rams.
Yep.
And then sandwiched in between is the Niners only scoring 9 points.
Yep.
And then Bryce Young only threw for 100 and some yards and a couple interceptions. So, yeah,
Yep.
I like that one, too. I don't think a whole lot of people are paying too much attention to the 49ers, especially on defense.
Yep.
My underreaction is we have 3 teams that picked in the top 10 last year that are winning the division right now. So we got and they all have rookie head coaches. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are number 3 right now in the AFC at 8-4. They picked a number 2 last year in the draft, and they have a rookie head coach
Well,
in
Traded
Liam
up.
Cohen.
What was their actual pick?
They were 5th, but
Fifth.
yeah,
Was
they
it fifth?
traded up. Yeah.
5th. Okay. Patriots are number 1 in the AFC at 11-2. They picked number 4 last year with not a rookie head coach, but a new head coach. And then the Bears are number 1 in the NFC at 9-3, and they picked number 10 last year with Ben Johnson as their head coach. So
Nice.
I think it's just kind of funny that all these teams that picked in the top 10 last year, so obviously they weren't very good. They all have new head coaches, and they're all either leading their division anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars are sitting number 3 in the AFC, which is pretty wild. I didn't see
Yep.
that happening.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, the Patriots are number 1, so
Mhm.
that's cool.
Patriots and Bears sitting at number
Yeah,
1
that's
through
crazy.
week 13.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about where they picked and how bad they were last year, but that's
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, Jaguars are just one of those teams too, where it's like they're weird this year. Like if I pick them, they
Mhm.
probably lose, but if I
But
go against them, that's when they win. But they're
they're
8-4.
yeah,
right?
they're kind of weird. They were kind of like the Panthers, where a couple weeks ago when we said the Panthers were like 5-3 or something like that.
Mhm.
And you look and you're like, holy cow, the Jaguars are 8-4. I would, if you would have asked me, I would have been like 6-6
Mhm.
or something like that. It just kind of feels that way.
Yep.
They're either blowing teams out or they're winning blowouts.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I like that one. I'm kind of going in the direction of Gage a little bit, but my underreaction was the Bills defense for just 1 week though. I I do feel like if the Bills keep playing defense the way they did this week, for some reason I can't think of who the heck they beat. I know it was a
Steelers.
pretty good Steelers. Thank you. I know they're a pretty decent team. I don't think they were one of the great offensive teams, but still they held them to 7 points. They got a sack, touchdown. I think it was a fumble recovery for a touchdown, 1 interception and 4 passes defended. I think that if their defense stays like this, that's what they need, and it'll make this team a Super Bowl team
Mhm.
because they're going to have to play each week like that. I do understand the Steelers aren't great, but still to get it done, hold the team to 7 points in a big game like this where they needed it, and Bosa actually played pretty well. And I don't feel like he's played that well this year, but he
Mhm.
actually showed up, got a sack. I think he did that. Was he the one who recovered it and went for a touchdown, or was it that other? I think it was the cornerback who picked it up
I
and
think
took him,
so,
but I
yeah.
think it was on a sack. Anyway, I thought they played really well, holding, and it didn't look like. I think it was the defense who shocked this team right back into the game too. So, yeah, Bills defense for me.
Cool. Overreaction. Seen a lot of hate on Jackson Dart after his horrible performance, but he just came back from concussion. And I mean, he's a rookie quarterback, just came back from concussion. Yeah, he had a bad game, but he's also playing a really, really good defense and a team that was just that because of that game was on a 10-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes, your rookie quarterback had a bad game, but people are like, man, I seen JJ McCarthy comparison. It's like, okay, that one game they were
Not
compared.
even, yeah,
That one game they compared in stats,
Mhm.
but he puts his body on the line. They didn't include the rushing yards, which got his ass kicked running the ball, but
Yeah.
he still did it.
yeah, took a pretty big hit.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked running the ball, but he still did it. I don't know. I just think there's first. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's like every week or every time so far, except for Joe Burrow. Somebody comes back from injury, they play like shit the first game, and then everybody's just clowning the hell out of him and giving up on him. It's like first game back from injury, man.
Yep.
Same happened with Brock.
Well, not to mention anything that could go wrong for a football team went wrong for the Giants in that
Mhm.
first half. It wasn't just him; they were down 30-0 at halftime. I think it was 30-0 at half. I don't think they had any points. But then they settled in, and that includes Jackson Dart. And I think they outscored the Patriots. What was like 15-3 in the second half. So I mean, they settled in and they started playing better and putting up points. So yeah, I don't understand why people are hating on him just for that. Yeah, it was a bad first half. It was really bad. But it wasn't just him. Everything went wrong for them in that first half. So yeah, that's crazy. I like that one.
Yeah, and one thing I see a lot of is he needs to protect himself, which we talked about since the draft. Is he needs to find a way to do it. Like I like when quarterbacks run the way he does, so I don't really want to tell him to protect himself. But he does need to try and make a move next time.
Yeah, well, and the thing is on that play, he wasn't going to get any more yards. So at that point, I'm okay with somebody running out of bounds.
Mhm.
There's no fight for yards there. Just step out of bounds. You might lose half a
I don't
yard.
know. Joshua Allen gets the first down. Lamar Jackson, good chance they get the first down. Because they know how to make the right move. So
Patrick Mahomes probably gets a penalty.
yeah,
I mean,
Mahomes gets
Yeah.
the first.
no, I like that too. I got to watch a little bit of that game, and from what I was watching, I think he throws the ball fairly well. I think he makes
Mhm.
the right decisions. He's throwing the ball to like Robinson, who's 5'7", 160 pounds, and rookie tight end. I like that rookie tight end, and Theo Johnson. I think he's going to be probably pretty good. But
Yeah, he's looking good. And he did miss a touchdown that
Mhm.
hit him right in the hand.
Yep,
Yeah,
So
and it was a really good throw. So I think he's making the right decisions. It's just his supporting cast isn't that great. I mean, his running backs are Singletary and Tracy. So not world beaters there either. They're not running the ball very well.
Once
So-
Cameron's back next year, man, it's gonna be a power couple
And then
again.
Malik Neighbors, I think they need to get Malik Neighbors back and healthy. I think that offense will be pretty good, and you'll
Yep.
kind of get to see a better version of Jackson Dart. I think, see, that's the thing with like people saying JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy has world beaters at throwing the ball to with Addison and Jefferson and
Naylor.
Naylor, and then even Hawkinson too. So it's
Yep.
just like, dude, he's got weapons and he's not producing. So
Yeah.
and then you compare to who Jackson Dart's throwing the ball to. I was like, dude, I don't even know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Wandale has better stats than Jefferson this year.
Yeah, that's
so.
true. That is true.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but nobody knew who Wandell was before this season for sure. You know.
My overreaction is: are we at a point in the season where we can say the AFC South is a better division than the AFC North? So AFC South right now we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8-4, Indianapolis Colts at 8-4, and the Houston Texans at 7-5, and then we got the Tennessee Titans. But AFC North, Baltimore Ravens 6-6, Pittsburgh Steelers 6-6, and Cincinnati Bengals 4-8, and then Browns 3-9. So coming into this season, I think we all were in a consensus that the AFC South was probably the weakest division.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all picked the Houston Texans to win it, and that was just because of everybody else in the division wasn't very good.
Yep.
But after week 13, are we ready to say that the South probably has better teams right now than the AFC North does?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely would.
Like,
Yeah, I'll take them for the second worst division in football instead of the worst.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it as like, if the playoffs started right now, would you rather play as far as they look right now, the Ravens, Steelers, or Bengals, or would you rather play the Jaguars, Colts, or Texans?
Jaguars, Colts, or Texans.
Do you think so? I think
mean,
out of all of those teams, I know they're only 7-5.
If I'm the coach, I'm giving it to my 13-year-old son up the middle, and they ain't stopping it for the Texans. The Colts have looked like shit. All you do is got to put 9 in the box and stop Jonathan Taylor.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
don't know. I get what you're getting at, but I totally disagree. I would rather play the AFC North right now.
I don't know. I know the Steelers have had a bad record and they've had a bad run in it, but that defense is still, when they play how they can play, which they have a lot of playoff experience there. So I think you're talking playoffs. I think we're going to get the best Steelers in playoffs if they make it. I think you'll see that best defense every week. So I want to play against TJ Watt in the playoffs. And then
Me personally, I would rather do that right now, team for team. Now, if you could make an all-star team of the AFC North and an all-star team of the AFC South, I would take the AFC North all-star team over the AFC South, just because I think, like, if you could take all their individual parts and put them together, make one big Megatron of a team, I would take AFC North. But as far as team to team, I just think there's too many holes. Each team has like glaring holes that are just
but I think if you go
exploit.
team to team, the 3 in the North, I take over 2 of the 3 in the South. Other than the Jags, I think are the least likely I'd want to play in that scenario. But the Colts look terrible right now. The Texans, you've seen the clear way to beat them. They can't stop a run between the tackles. We've seen it in all their losses. Basically, they can't stop it between the tackles.
Yeah, I don't think that at times they couldn't, but I do think they did against the Colts. I think they held them okay there, and that was a lot of running up the middle.
Yeah.
So
again,
I
Colts, you put 9 in the box.
Yeah, I think a couple weeks ago I probably would have been more on the fence with this, but I agree where I like where Jared's going with this, because right now their trajectory is they're just starting to play. I mean, Texans are starting to play like the team we thought they could be. Their offense is coming around. The Colts have been kind of brought back down to earth, though. I agree with that.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, okay, this is Daniel Jones. But then you got Jacksonville. I think they're playing really good. So
I mean,
yeah.
I
don't trust any team in the AFC North right now at all.
I don't trust any team in the South either. That's my issue.
That's what I was trying to get at. I was like, on paper, the South looks better because of their records, but the North has like the star power, kind of like what you said. It's like, so I look at it as like probably Cincinnati with Joe Burrow coming back, and if T. Higgins comes back healthy from a concussion, it's like they probably have the best offense. It's just the way Joe Burrow's playing. And
we already seen it. You're talking about a first off Jake Browning Bengals team, and that's where half that record comes from. And then Joe Flacco, who played better than Jake Browning, but still couldn't push him to win.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're finally getting Joe Burrow back, and they come in and beat the hell out of the Ravens, which in their division,
Right.
Ravens do look rough. I mean, you can't give them any excuses. They just got rid by the Bengals and only put up 14
Right.
against that defense. And then the Steelers, I mean, they're just so on and off. But I do think, especially with Tomlin, like I said, they missed the playoffs. I think he should be fired. But they all have so much playoff experience. Then
Yeah.
that
I think
playoff
they're on
games,
a
I think they're better.
three-game skid, I think, Steelers.
Yeah.
2 or 3 games, and I think that, yeah. I don't know. That's a good question to pose. I like that argument there. I like that one. Okay, my overreaction, we talked about it a little bit, so I won't go too far on it, is the Broncos 10-2 record. I already talked about it. They don't feel like an elite team to me. They got an elite defense, and we've talked about this a lot. So, but I'm still, like I said, I'm not confident in this team going into the playoffs. Last year, they went in with a great defense and got beat down by the Bills in the playoffs first round, and I feel like this team is not good enough on offense to keep up and do what they need to do in the playoffs. So I'm just not confident yet in them. I still don't think we've seen anything. And the Commanders exposed that defense. I mean, they pushed them into overtime, and like you said, they passed a ton, but they still. I mean, I just think the defense let them down in that game, and the offense is still janky. So
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Yeah, just looking at the last probably 4 games, sorry, after I'm not really going to count the Dallas game because I think Dallas is a lot better now equipped on defense. Houston, they won 18-15. Las Vegas, they won 10-7. Kansas City, 22-19, and then Washington, 27-26, which went into overtime. I think they scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
I think it was 2020.
Yeah.
Same thing that you said. What gives me pause is going into the playoffs, and if a team gets up on them like the Bills did last year, to where they can't just grind out a game with their defense and they kind of have to throw their way back into it, kind of gives me a little bit of pause. So, yeah, I like that one a lot too.
Okay, let's go into our. Before we get to it, I'll talk about this one too. I meant to talk about it earlier. So Caleb Williams on our 4,000 watch, he is averaging 226.8 points a game, and that puts him on pace at 3,855. So he needs to have a big game and then keep his. He needs to get that average up to about 300 or about 235. I think I said 236. So he's just out of it, but there's some games left. So. All right, now let's go into our offensive player of the week.
This is the part I didn't get
prep
done.
for? Okay.
I had one, and at first I wanted to do the Bears running backs, but you guys gave me crap of not picking one person last week for defense. So I really like this guy. We talked about him earlier. Dak Prescott was my offensive player of the week. Prime time, Thanksgiving against the Kansas City Chiefs. The last 2 weeks against the Eagles and the Chiefs in back-to-back weeks. This week he was 27 out of 39, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have that lone interception on that very first drive, but just watching him play, throwing the ball to Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Ferguson, is just like, holy cow, this guy's kind of surgical. And the game wasn't like to where they were like winning the whole time. He kind of had to battle his way back in because the Chiefs kept on coming back. And so that last couple drives to where he was like picking up first downs, throwing those out routes to those receivers I like the way Dak's playing this week. I think he was a big part of why they won last 2 weeks against the Eagles and the Chiefs. So
nice. Yeah, I like that one. I almost went with Dak, and then I ended up going with the guy I went with for 2 reasons. For one, he doesn't have the weapons that Dak does, and just kind of spike Gage a little bit. So I went Jordan Love.
Oh, man.
I went 18 for 30, 234 yards, 4 touchdowns, and it was a big game that they needed going against the Lions. So, I thought he played really well, and he does not have the assortment of weapons. He doesn't have a Pickens. He doesn't have a CeeDee Lamb. I think his Christian Watson is probably his biggest guy right now.
Probably.
And then I still don't think they have Tucker. So, yeah, I thought he played really well, and he was pivotal in that win with 4 touchdowns. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say he has no weapons because I think, especially this season, Christian Watson is top 10, top 15. I'd probably take him over Pickens this season, but
No.
I can
Over
tell you,
Pickens? No way.
I can tell you Romeo Dobbs isn't because I have him on fantasy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't take. I don't know, man. There's not a lot of receivers that I would take over Pickens right now.
Yeah, he's playing well.
He's on fire.
Yeah.
So, all right, defensive player of the week. And I didn't give you shit because my pick is the team pick.
Is it?
Yeah, he gave you shit, but I don't remember giving you shit.
He says, I guess it wasn't. He said it was a cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have a defensive player of the week?
I do.
Okay.
Christian Benford. He was the one with the fumble recovery touchdown from
Okay.
the Bills, and he had an interception. And God damn it, Bills needed to find somebody that would step up on that damn defense.
Somebody needed to do something.
Somebody
I like that.
needed to do something. So
Well,
Yeah.
he was the one who got hurt in the Kansas City game last year, and they had to play Kyer Elam.
Yeah.
So I mean, remember we talked about the whole game plan was just weird because they played man the whole time, and Elam couldn't keep up with whoever he was guarding. But Benford was the one who was the starter, and he ended up getting. I don't know if he got hurt early or if he didn't play in that game, but Benford, I think, is a really good defensive back. So
yeah,
my defensive player of the week is Ernest Jones for the Seahawks. 12 total tackles, 7 solo, 2 INTs, and then he had that pick six that Bosmer
That
threw.
awesome pass.
Yeah, right to him. But defensive back, he's 12 total tackles, like I said, 7 solo. 2 of them were 2 interceptions and then 1 touchdown. Was a big reason why they pitched a shutout against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback right back off of that because I went into the Seahawks defense looking for a player, and I almost picked him as well, but I just ended up doing the Seahawks defense altogether. It was just, 4 interceptions, 4 sacks, 6 passes defense, 1 touchdown, and 0 points. It's hard to go away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I almost picked just one guy too, but I think that it was just kind of a whole team thing, man. They dominated the Vikings from beginning to end. It was ugly. So, yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks defense too, so I like it.
cool.
Okay, so going into our picks, last week we only had 9 people participate, so that kind of sucks. We keep just missing out on the 10 we need to give out some money, but Aaron won with only 3 losses, which was really good. Aaron's kind of winning a lot. I think this is his 3rd win. I think we've paid him twice.
Well, we already know from fantasy he's a lucky guy.
Lucky guy, yeah. So yeah, we're going Aaron on that one. Like I said, 3 losses. That's pretty awesome. Only 9 players, so I think we're just going to forward that. I think we're up to 50. Did we pay out last week? I don't think so.
I think we paid out last week.
I think we're going to forward it again, and we'll do 75 for this next one. I'll put it on the Facebook thing. So $75 to the one who wins this next week. So, all right, let's go into our picks. Oh, yeah, and our picks for us, which I almost forgot. And
Yeah, no, I agree. That's just
Let's go on. Gage came in trailing again at 6-10. It was a rough week.
Yeah, it's rigged.
But I mean, he took some wild cards there. I think you picked the Giants. I think you picked some teams.
You picked the Browns.
Browns.
Let's not
I picked
forget
the
that.
Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I picked the Browns. I don't think I picked the Giants. I think I took Patriots.
Maybe I'm wrong
but,
on that one, but
I mean, it's just usually I go underdogs. This week I didn't go underdogs, and then all the underdogs won.
yeah. I was surprised you didn't go for the Titans again.
Yeah, well, I might have something in store for you this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, what was the other one? I know there was another one. You did go Steelers. You went Browns. Steelers wasn't a terrible pick, though. So, yeah, just got you this week. So, you did go Lions, which still isn't a bad pick. So, then I came in second again. 10-6 wasn't great. I wish I could have hit a couple more. But then we got Jared again leading and extending his lead overall. He's 12-4 this week. Good job. You didn't beat Aaron though.
I know.
Yeah, but
He didn't win. He didn't win any money. It's getting to the point if that money keeps on climbing, we're gonna start having to be involved in winning the pot.
Yeah,
yeah, we're gonna get some money out of that. So that puts Jared at 137, 58-1, leading. I am in second, 127, 68-1. So I was holding about an 8 game behind you there. Now I'm down to 10 again behind you. And then Gage coming up at 104, 92-1. Dude,
Yep.
you are in threatening having a losing record here. So
yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'm going 16-0 this week, so
all right,
better just copy my picks real quick since I always go first.
okay, all right.
Okay,
Let's get
started
into
off tomorrow night, 6:30 kickoff. Got the Cowboys Lions. Give me the Lions 27-21.
Okay.
I got the Cowboys. I like how they're playing. Lions, I think, have some injuries in their DB room right now. I can't remember. One of them's out for the season.
They always have.
That's true. I think that's why they're playing so bad.
They won 13 games last year with the entire DB core out.
That's true. And then Washington put 500 yards on them in
Yeah.
first round of the playoff, or
Yeah.
I guess or conference divisional.
Yeah, division.
Anyway, I think the Lions are kind of trending towards their offense needing to score some points, and I'm not sure Ross St. Brown is playing this game because he got rolled up on. I think he's questionable.
Yeah.
But
Dude, he might be one of those guys that retires early because of injuries
I
because
know.
he's always hurt,
He
man.
is.
Always.
So those two reasons, Lions defensive backfield and their Amon Ross not playing, I got the Cowboys winning 27-24.
Okay. Yeah, they have Detroit as a 3-point favorite. I get it. I actually kind of thought Cowboys might be favored. Maybe it's just because Lions are at home. I like the way the Cowboys are playing a lot better too. The Lions have just given me so much like heartache trying to pick them, trying to figure out what they're gonna do. And so yeah, I'm going Cowboys. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, 42-34.
Cool. Sunday, 11 o'clock. Start that window. Got the Titans Browns. Every week I have my toilet bowl of the game, and this one clearly toilet bowl of the week. I'm taking the Titans 28-19.
Okay.
Yeah, this game is a good indicator on probably draft position. Whoever wins this game is going to be not. I guess the Titans. If the Titans win, they're kind of bailing on the first overall number one, or the number one overall pick again. But this one's going to be low scoring. I think it's in Cleveland. Weather could be crappy. Both offenses don't scare me very much, so I got the Browns winning a 1-point game, 14-13.
Okay, they got Cleveland as a 4.5 point favorite. I'm okay with that. I think the Cleveland is definitely, at least they have an elite defense, something there. I like their running backs better. I think their defense is going to be able to hold the Titans down. I think the Titans will make it a little bit close, but I like it 20-14. I almost went with the Titans, but it's like, man, they can't. I don't think they
They
have.
can't catch goddamn football.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
what they can't
Their
do is catch a
offense isn't
football.
great. So I mean, Titans could end up pulling a. This could be what their second win of the season, possibly. So
Yeah.
if they're gonna win, it'd probably be this game.
Yep. That's
where
what
they
I was
need
thinking
it,
when
so.
writing it down, too. It's like, well, I've already picked them. Every time I pick them, they're close. Didn't pick them this week, and they lost by a lot, 16. So, I mean, since I picked them, they'll at least keep it close.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes. Okay, the next game is Seahawks Falcons. Has to be the first sweep of the week, I think. Seahawks 31-15.
Yeah, as much as we want the Falcons to help the 49ers out on their bye week, Falcons just lost to the New York Jets. So I like Seattle going and winning 31-20 in Atlanta.
Okay.
Ooh, you're giving the Falcons more credit than I am.
Yeah.
They've got Seattle as a 7-point favorite. I kind of thought that would be a little bit more.
Yeah, that's maybe it's because JSN can't catch a football anymore either.
Yeah, he didn't have a good week. But, I mean, that's one thing I'll give the Vikings. They are a little bit better defense than what the Falcons have been, even though the Falcons usually have a good passing defense. But I thought it'd be more. It must be just because the Falcons are at home. I've got it 30-10 Seahawks. I don't know. Falcons, I think, are pretty much done. I don't know where they go from there. Where they go from here. They're going to have to readdress some issues.
So we're all seeing 4 touchdowns and a field goal for the Seahawks, though, or not you? You got 30 somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to score 30.
3 field goals.
Maybe they
Our
miss,
team's
maybe
figured
they
out.
miss an extra point.
Yeah,
Yeah, teams figured it out.
30-10.
Cool. Next game is the Colts versus Jags, and I didn't underline a team here because I wasn't sure yet, but I'm gonna make my decision. I'm taking the Jags, 35-24.
This was a tough game. Huh?
It was, yeah. It's kind of crazy going into week 14. Colts versus Jaguars is going to be for the division lead right now between these two teams. I couldn't have guessed.
No.
I would have never guessed it. But man, the Jaguars are just so hard to pick because they almost remind me of the Steelers a little bit, to where if you don't pay attention to them, they're winning games, but the moment you start paying attention to them, they lose games. Colts, it seems like Daniel Jones is hurt. It sounded like he got like a little fracture in his fibula, so he's not moving around as well. That kind of takes an aspect away from Daniel Jones being a little bit more mobile. I think you kind of saw that against the Texans last week, but I do have the Colts coming out on top, 24-21.
Okay. Yeah, they have Indy as a 1.5 point favorite, so they have it being a really close game for the Jags at home. I'm okay with it being close. I like their spread on that one because it is a tight game. It's a tough one. I ended up going with the Jags because I like the way their defense is playing. It kind of, like I said earlier, it does feel like the Colts are back down to earth now. And as long as you can stop Taylor, it feels like their offense is done. And I think Jaguars will do that to a point. I mean, as much as you can stop Taylor. But I like the Jaguars 31-28 in a close game.
Okay. Next game is Commanders Vikings, and if you didn't have Browns Titans on the schedule, this would be the toilet bowl. Um, I mean, yeah, it's no matter who's behind the helm for the Vikings, it's going to be terrible. But I am taking them 17-10. Hopefully they give the ball to Jordan Mason finally.
Watching the Broncos game, what made me kind of forget about the Commanders a little bit was Terry McLaurin. He finally played in the game this year, and he looked pretty good. So I think the combination between Terry McLaurin and Debo gives me the edge in this game anyway. I like their offense, even if Marcus Mariota's throwing the ball 50 times. At least he's throwing the 50 times to McLaurin and Debo.
Yeah.
So I got them winning a 1 point game against the Vikings, 20-19.
Okay. They have Minnesota as a 2.5 point favorite. I think you could have went either way with this one. I thought it probably even could have been even, but it maybe just the Vikings at home. I agree with what you said. Jaden Daniels is questionable for this game, so if he comes back,
Better not play.
I like the Commanders, but I definitely like the Commanders either way. But definitely would choose them if Jaden Daniels is going to be back. But I'm going to go Commanders 17-14 in a low scoring, kind of an ugly game, and I think they'll be able to pull it out. I did like what I seen, and they played that Broncos defense really well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna go make sure Jaden doesn't play though, so don't count on it. I got Mariota in fantasy, man. He's been putting up some decent numbers. So next game is Bengals Bills. This is like game of the year type of stuff in the writing here. Joe Burrow came back, had the heater of a game in his first game back. Josh Allen is just trying to find a way to keep up with the damn Patriots again. It's going to be a hell of a game, but I am taking Josh Allen, reigning MVP, come out here and play like an MVP and put up a 5 total touchdown game to beat the Bengals 35-28.
All right. I got this one at high scoring as well. This one was probably the toughest game for me to pick because I think Joe Burrow has played well against the Bills in the past. It's just something about him going up against the Sean McDermott defense that the Bills just can't figure out. But I like the Bills going against the Bengals defense more than I like the Bengals going against the Bills defense. So I got this one in a high scoring, tight game, 33-31 Bills.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I actually left this one blank when I was writing them down for a little while. I had to think on it. They have Buffalo as a 5.5 point favorite. I kind of thought that was wild. I don't know if they've been watching football, but normally I say that, and then it ends up being exactly what they think. So they know what they're doing, I guess, a little more. But I actually think this is going to be a really tight game. I had a hard time picking. The Bengals are, they're that team that comes on at the end of the year. Joe Burrow, he always has a slow start, even if he's not injured. But yeah, I think the only reason I picked the Bills in this game was because of how well they played defense against the Steelers, and if they can do that again, they'll be able to hold them. So I still like it being a close game. It's really tight. I'm even having trouble saying it right now because it's gonna be that close. But I think 34-33 Bills. So
Cool.
gonna be that. I agree with you. Could be one of the games of the year. I think Gage said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hello. Okay. It's giving out on me. Okay. Next game is Saints versus Bucks. The hard part here was deciding how big of a blowout to predict, but I predicted the Bucks taking it 42-21.
Yeah, I like the Bucks as well. I just don't. Saints might be the team that I kind of like. I talked about the Titans and the Raiders. I might not pick again this year, even though they did play a close game against the Dolphins. I think that says more about the Dolphins than it does the Saints. I like the Bucks getting Chris Godwin back last week. He kind of had a bigger role at 3 catches for like 70-some yards. So their offense, and then Bucky Irving obviously coming back. So I like the way their offense is probably going to be trending. I got them winning 27-17.
Okay. They have Tampa Bay as an 8.5 point favorite, which I'm okay with to a point because they have not looked the part, but I agree with you that they're getting guys back, and that might be why they have it as such a big upset there. But I like the Bucks as well. I just think it's gonna be a little bit closer, 28-24, and that's just I don't like this Bucks the way the Bucks been playing. But yeah, maybe now that we have Irving back and Godwin back, maybe they'll finally get it going again. So
Cool. Next game is going to be the Steelers versus Ravens. It's obviously a good game and has huge playoff implications this time around. Um, I don't like how Lamar is playing recently and how the whole offense is running. Didn't really see it the whole offense because Derrick Henry still averaged 6 yards a carry last game, just only got the ball 10 times. So I don't like how the offense being called more than I don't like how it's being played. But either way, I don't believe the Ravens defense or Ravens offense against Steelers defense. So I'm going to take the Steelers in it 28-17.
Yeah, I like that. This is another matchup of
You're taking the who? Sorry,
Steelers.
Steelers. Okay.
another matchup of whoever wins this game is going to be in the division lead, kind of like what the Colts and Jaguars are. Steelers, even last year when the Steelers kind of seemed a little bit down and the Ravens were, obviously a little bit better. Steelers give the Ravens a tough matchup every single time. I do think the Ravens come out on top though in a tough, close battle, 24-20 though.
You got Ravens.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they got Baltimore by 6 points. Again, I don't know
Jeez.
why they have that such a big number there. I think it's even or even a 1 point favorite maybe for Baltimore, which is where I see it at. This was another tough game to choose. I'm going the Ravens 21-20
Yeah,
and kind of an uglier game. So
that's kind of a crazy spread, I think. I
It
think,
is, yeah.
I mean, if either team was undefeated and the other was defeated, hadn't won yet, I'd still probably pick it to be a closer game than
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
a 6 point spread just because it's always a good game
yeah.
between
The
them.
Ravens haven't played well enough to get a 6 point spread on the Steelers team. I don't feel
No,
like. So.
I don't think so either. Okay, next game is going to be Dolphins Jets. This one is hard to choose after the Jets just beat the Falcons,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to take the Dolphins 21-17 just because it's perfect time for them to go in and screw their draft pick.
um, this was a tough game to choose, but I solely went off of the Dolphins having a bad rushing defense, and my hope is that Brees Hall gets like almost 200 yards rushing for fantasy purposes. So I
Mhm.
got the Jets winning 26-23.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. This was a tough one. They have Miami as a 2.5 point favorite, which I could totally see that. Neither team has really separated themselves from each other so much. Dolphins have looked good as of late. I think they're on a 2 or 3 game winning streak. That's the only reason I kind of stuck with the Dolphins on this one because I do feel like their defense is starting to climb down a little bit and get a little better, but it's still going to be a close game. I could win either way. I'm going to go Dolphins 24-21. And yeah, they're going to screw up their top 10
Yeah.
pick.
Yep. Okay, next one. Broncos Raiders. Always a fun one. Not always a close one, but always a fun one because it's a big
Yeah.
rivalry. I'm taking the Broncos in it 20-10, but there's a good chance the Broncos fumble the bag. I think it's like a 70-30 favorite,
Mhm.
because there's 30% chance they just go out and Bo Nix throws 3 picks in the fourth quarter to lose the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I had to. I thought at first I was going to make this kind of a high scoring game, but then I was like, man, I think these guys have played each other before. And then I went and looked. And I was like, oh yeah, Broncos won 10-7. So
Yeah.
I changed it real quick. I still had the Broncos winning, but I changed it to 20-7 this time. Broncos.
Okay, they have Denver by 7.5, which is kind of crazy because yeah, it wasn't that big of a lead. But I mean, the Broncos are 10-2. The Raiders, have got 3 wins on the
Mhm.
year. I'm going Broncos. I do think it'll be a little bit bigger, so I think it's going to be 27-13, and I think just Broncos will be able to get a little bit more against the Raiders than what they did last time. So
Depends on what Bo Nix we get.
yeah,
Okay, next is Rams versus Cardinals, and damn, did I want to take the Cardinals, man. They're already eliminated. They're out of the playoff race entirely, so if they want to start winning games now, especially this one, it
Yeah.
would be huge.
yep.
There's no chance. They're losing 28-7.
Yeah, I got the Rams winning big too. I got them winning 34-20. Rams might be a little bit pissed off losing to the Panthers. But how cool would that be if both the Cardinals and the Falcons win this week and put the Niners
Right.
in first place on a bye week?
That'd be
kinda
so awesome.
but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't either. They got the Rams by 7.5. I thought that would be closer. I thought that should probably be a bigger spread
Higher.
even.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say closer. That's crazy. Higher.
I,
Oh, no,
I
it
was
is,
gonna I was gonna say closer to like the 8.5, 9
Oh.
point, which we had in the one game. So
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. Not closer as in like that, but like I
yeah.
think the biggest spread was the Buccaneers game,
But
which is weird. But
It is a division game,
Mhm.
interdivision game, so it could be that might be
Yeah.
what's dragging that spread
Yeah.
down.
and it's Cards at home.
Yeah, it's in Arizona,
But-
so the Rams are going to be melting.
Yeah, I still think the Rams are gonna be able to take care of this. I think going Rams, and it's gonna be 30-10 or 30-20. think the Cards will be able to do a little bit. Their offense actually hasn't been terrible,
Yeah.
but they're not good enough to win, but like
I
good enough to
definitely think
kind
it's
of put us some
time
points.
cut Kyler Murray.
Hmm.
Just run Jacoby Brisket. All
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I agree. I think it's time to move on.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's probably past time. I can
Maybe
see
they
why
should
they.
just keep losing and take another high quarterback that's going to come in and shit the bed because he's 5'10".
Yeah,
They're probably going to go out and get some little guy.
yeah, they might be in the Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
Sweepstakes.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, probably. All right, next game is Bears versus Packers. This one I think it's going to be Bears blowout, 27-7.
oh wow.
Man, third game this week of whoever wins is going to be the divisional leader. Bears versus Packers in the NFC North. Bears only play close games. Apparently, Packers do too. So I think this one's going to be a close divisional game. But I got the Packers coming out on top because they're playing at home, 26-23.
See, here's what you haven't caught on to yet, Jared. Every time we're like, "Oh, this is two great defenses," it's a combined score of 60. Every time we're like, "Oh, this is two great offenses," get 14-12.
That's true. That is
So,
true.
both teams play close games. One team's gonna blow out the other.
It is probably going to be a blowout.
So yeah, they got Green Bay by 6.5, and oddly, I'm actually okay with that, even though the Bears just came off a really good performance against the Eagles. The reason I'm okay with that is just because I feel like the Packers are kind of getting back to the form where we thought they were the Super Bowl contenders in the beginning of the season. They're starting to look a lot better. They're starting to
I
play a
still
lot
think
better.
that was crazy always, and you can tell by there.
Well, they were kicking ass, whether you don't think it, but their first like 2 or 3 games came out and just smoking. So I like the Packers 31-20. So yeah, even though you might not have liked them as a favorite Super Bowl, but they were kicking ass when they came out and just
Yeah, their
dominated the
defense was
Lions.
crazy. Their
They
defense was
dominated
crazy.
the Lions first week. It was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
But yeah, then they were down there for about 3 or 4 weeks though. So like they was just even if they won, it was like, oh man, what team is this?
Yeah.
But I think they're coming back. I think they're getting back to form. I think they're figuring out ways to get this offense rolling again. So yeah, Packers 31-20.
Cool. Next game, Texans Chiefs. I feel like this is always a fun one too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Texans gave them everything they could have in the playoffs last year.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So I think it's gonna be somewhat a fun one again. I think if you live in Kansas City, Missouri, because for some reason Kansas City isn't in Kansas. Stuff always pisses me off. But I think if you live in Kansas City, you're gonna hate it. But I think if you're like the rest of the country and cheer for the Texans, I think it's gonna be a fun one. I think it's gonna be Texans 28-17.
I got the Texans winning as well. I know last week I picked the Cowboys to end the Chiefs' playoff chances, and it didn't quite end it. It put a real big damper on it. I think the Texans this week have a chance to pretty much end the Chiefs' playoff chances. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Teams don't score more than 20 points against the Texans defense. CJ Stroud came back last week. I thought he played pretty well coming off of a 3-week stint on a concussion protocol. But I was looking it up. Only 2 teams this year have scored over 20 points against the Texans defense. It was 27. Seattle scored 27 points, and then Jacksonville, we talked about them scoring the 29 points. But Chiefs aren't going to do it either. I got the Texans winning 21-17.
Yeah, I like that. They got actually Kansas City as a 3.5 point favorite. I was kind of surprised by that, just by because of how well the Texans been playing, and then the Chiefs just got beat by the Cowboys, and so I was kind of surprised they had them as a favorite. I like the Texans here, and it was just kind of what you just said. I mean, the Texans been playing well. Their defense, I think, is a defense that can hold Patrick Mahomes. I think they're fast enough. They're going to get to him a lot. Yeah, I like them 23-17 Texans.
Yeah, I guess
and
so.
I do, and I do think it'll end their playoff chances. So
I guess the one thing I wasn't considering at least probably will have 4 or 5 roughing the passers because Will Anderson and
I forgot
Daniel
about
Hunter
that
will be there every day.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about that game last year.
Yep.
yeah,
Okay, Monday Night Football. This is the game for your score prediction. Seems like we don't have many issues with that anymore.
nope.
But
Now that we only have one game on
Yeah.
Monday nights,
yeah, now that we're not at 2, it's going to be Eagles Chargers. As much as I want to go the Chargers, I don't think you can. I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to say it's like 27-14.
Yeah, both of these teams, I just have a whole lot of questions for. Chargers, they looked pretty decent last week, but they were going against the Raiders as far as offense goes compared to the week before against the Jaguars. Eagles, I just can't figure out their offense. I think their defense is still good enough. The Chargers definitely probably aren't going to get 250 yards rushing on this Eagles defense.
Yeah.
I trust Vic Fangio is probably going to have that figured out pretty quick. I like the Eagles winning a close game, 23-21.
Okay, they got Philly by 3. I'm okay with that, but I'm still going to go on the other side of this. I am going to take the Chargers at home. That was the only thing that kind of put me over the edge. I do like the way the Chargers defense is playing, and if they can run the ball, I don't think they're going to get 200, but if they can run the ball a little bit and then grind it out and get some points on the board, I think Chargers are going to win this one 28-27. I think it's going to be a really close game either way, though.
Okay, just a quick question for you old 49ers fans, because I was pretty young when he was there. Current day Jim Harbaugh or Kyle Shanahan?
I don't know, man. I really like what's going on. If I could have, I don't know. That's a tough question because our defenses and everything were so freaking good then. Um,
You guys know who the defensive coordinator was, don't you?
wasn't that Vic
It was
Fangio?
Vic Fangio.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be tough because it depends. Like if you're going with a coordinators too. I like our front office. I know a lot of people are talking shit on John Lynch, but I like him. I think he does well. I think some of their bad decisions have come from Kyle Shanahan, kind of complaining and bitching about like with the Brandon Ayuk signing. That was all Shanahan. It sounds like so. I don't know. I like Jim Harbaugh. I think he's a winner. I think that, he also lost a Super Bowl there too. But I do think that if he was our coach during those Super Bowl appearances against the Chiefs, I think we probably would have got one of
I
them.
think your best case scenario would be Harbaugh head, Kyle Shanahan, OC, and then I think you would be killing. But
Yeah.
so I think I would probably take Harbaugh because it seems like he does better personnel wise,
Hmm.
which is kind of crazy to say considering all our made around draft picks with Fred Warner and Kittle and all them. I still think Harbaugh does better. I don't know if he just knows better scouts or whatever, but I think he just does better finding talent.
Yeah, it's tough. You'd kind of wish that Harbaugh would have stayed for like 10, 15 years
Yeah.
rather than the 4-year stint that he got there. Um, I think they're just two completely different head coaches. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh is more of a CEO type, to where he doesn't call us out of the ball. Greg Roman's always been his offensive coordinator everywhere he's pretty much been. So he does a really good job, I think, of, like you said, getting talent in the building, or recognizing talent, and then recognizing talent in his coordinators. He brought that young defensive coordinator with him from Michigan, and then he's always had Greg Roman. But and then Kyle Shanahan's just, I think he's probably one of the better play callers in the league. Um,
I think in certain situations he is.
I,
I
I
think you put him up 13 with 15 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I think he's pretty shit. But
well, that's true. I think he gets a little pass happy sometimes,
Yeah.
but um, the way he can kind of design plays for like Christian McCaffrey, and who else could probably take Mac Jones and win 5 games while you're starting quarterback search. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know.
well,
I think
if you asked me that before the season, I would say Kevin O'Connell. But
that's
I'm not
true.
so sure about that,
That is
anymore.
true. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's tough. I think you just get two different types of personalities and head coaches, and I don't know. I think you can't go wrong with either one of them.
So however it works out, whether it's like Sala, whatever, Shanahan's impressed me this year because normally if we have an injury plagued season like last year, we're
Mhm.
done. It's either they all stay healthy and he has all those guys and we make a Super Bowl, or we're 5-6 wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this year he's been able to to coach this team to win, and I do think it is bringing Sala back. I think there is certain things, but that's all still part of the head coach's job to figure out who he wants there and personnel and stuff too. So yeah, Shanahan's really impressed me. I think this is probably the best year of coaching that I've seen him do. So
I want him demoted, so I disagree with you heavily. But
yeah, I really like what he's done this year as far as like keeping this team around. I don't like a lot of his play calls. I agree with you 100% when he gets
yeah, I think he had a top
need to
5
run the
pick
ball.
that originally looked like a bust, and one of the biggest gems in history of football. And those two people are just doing enough to win. But
And Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. So you're saying,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I just if you would ask me that at the beginning of the year, I would have definitely said Jim Harbaugh, no question. But
Mhm.
now I just think that he's had a good year, and whatever the reason, I think that I'm happy where we're at. Let's just put it that way.
I
So,
definitely now. I don't think he should necessarily be fired, but either him OC or get an OC in here, even if it's just to uh have a conversation with him before going super pass happy with a
Yeah.
13-point lead in the fourth
especially
quarter.
when you got a quarterback with a bum leg
Yeah,
and he passes 4 straight downs, you're like,
yeah, especially when you could see that the amount of braces your quarterback's got on one knee makes him
Yeah.
look like he's the Hulk in that one leg. Like,
yep. But it is crazy, man. I mean, they went through what 2 different coordinators that weren't doing very good since what's his name went to Houston.
Yeah, D'Amico.
And yeah, since D'Amico left, and it was just like, well, this isn't great. You know what I mean? And then now you got Sala back, and you're like, okay. I mean, this dude, man, I don't know. It made a world of difference having Sala
Whoa.
back, having a good defensive coordinator back.
and
So,
Jared mentioned he might be one of your big hires in the offseason or after the season.
Oh, Robert Sala.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys who can't do head coach and just needs to stay the damn coordinator.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of coaches
I
like
think
that.
you see a lot of this from these coaches though. They flare up, they go coach like Brian Flores, and then they have can't make it as a head coach right off the bat. I think he needs to stick with the Niners, not just because I want him there and he's good, but if he stays around for another 2 or 3 years, then he goes to head coach. I think he'll be a good head coach somewhere again. I think it's just that experience. You kind of see that a lot. Like I really think Josh McDaniels, given another chance after this long, probably would do pretty decent too somewhere, even though he didn't have a very good stint, his first time.
Yeah,
He was a coach, just one head coach once with the Broncos, right?
Who's that?
Josh McDaniels.
Uh,
Or
the Raiders too.
Did he? Oh, okay.
Remember,
So,
he was
he's
the-
had a couple
yep.
times. All right. Well, maybe not Josh McDaniels, but I think some of these guys,
Yeah.
they just need a year or two. So
Mhm.
after head coach, kind of sit back and go, all right, this is what I would have done different.
Right.
So. All right. Well, that was a good show. Coming off an upset week, I think this one probably will settle back in a little bit more. I think we see some games where we had a lot of sweeps this week.
Mhm.
So I think we have some games where they're kind of no brainers, but we'll see.
should be no brainers.
Should be no brainers, but yeah, okay, yeah, get back on there, get your friends and everybody on there. We're gonna bump up that the winnings to 75, and yeah, get all your friends on there. If we don't get 10, I think we're gonna cap out at some point. So make sure you get on there and get your friends and get your
and
relatives
one more
on
thing
there.
before you end it: you cannot give the money back. If you do win it, take the damn money.
Yeah, yeah. Luke tried, and I appreciate that, but it's like take your winnings, man. We appreciate it, but yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for listening.